guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is very simple and beginner friendly. All you need is some thin yarn, corresponding crochet hook, and some really cute beads or charms, and we are going to make something really cute to add some sparkle to your outfits this holiday season. So for this tutorial, we are going to need beads, preferably some with a jump loop. It is a lot easier to crochet with those versus beads that have the hole in the middle, but it is possible, just that these are a lot easier to work with, so I do recommend beads with a jump loop. And then also a thinner yarn. This yarn is worked with a 2.5 to a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, so like very thin yarn. And like I said, this is very thin yarn, so I'm going to be working with a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. So yeah, even though it is thinner yarn and a smaller crochet hook, it does work up rather quickly. So don't be discouraged. This is still a really quick and fun project. So go ahead and start by attaching your yarn to your hook. Just a side note, this Hobie yarn is like the best. They always put like those little white tabs so you can find the center of your skein, so you can just pull out the yarn straight from the center. It is like amazing. Plus this color is really cute. I want to say it's candy floss. I'm not sure because their labels just have like the number. They don't have the name of the color. But I do recommend checking out Hobie yarn. It is like the best yarn ever, and it's really inexpensive. It does ship from Denmark though, so just keep that in mind. It does take a little longer to ship. So just place an order, I would say, for like a bigger, just place like a bigger order versus like just grabbing a few things, because you are going to wait a little bit for that. But definitely just order more yarn, like we need that for our yarn stash anyways. But yeah, I definitely recommend Hobie yarn. So there's no really like specific amount of chains you need to do. I didn't actually even count the amount of chains that I did. What I basically did was just chain, and then I kept measuring it to my wrist. What I wanted for my bracelet was more of like a wrap bracelet. I wanted it to wrap around at least 3 times. So I went based off of that. So just start chaining, and then if you want just like, you know, your bracelet to just be traditional and just go once around your wrist, or if you do want it to wrap a few times, just measure it based on that. Also, before I forget, when you're measuring, keep in mind to leave a little excess yarn, or I'm sorry, excess like chains to like tie the knot, unless you're gonna add like a lobster clasp or a different type of closure. But I wanted mine to just tie like in a cute little bow, so I am measuring my wrist and then also measuring a little extra for that bow. So just to give you an idea, I did measure it against my crochet hook just to give you an idea of how long I ended up chaining. So I think mine was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the length of my crochet hook. So once you get to the point where you are happy with the length of your bracelet, go ahead and just get your beads ready. I also do recommend laying them out in the order that you would like them, just so number one, you can see what they actually look like, and then two, that way they're already ready to grab while you're crocheting your bracelet. So once you lay out your beads in an order that you like, I would also recommend just kind of like putting them against your bracelet just so you can see how much space you like in between your beads. I ended up doing mine all like closer together and then just towards like the front of the bracelet because I wanted them to be like just on the first part of the wrap, and then I wanted the two other wraps that were going to go around my wrist just to be the pink, like the yarn. So I wanted the beads a lot closer together, kind of like chunky looking, kind of like a charm bracelet. So we are going to work this in single crochet, so go ahead and single crochet in the first chain from your hook and then all the way across. And then for this part, this is going to be, if you're doing like the bow closure, you will not put any beads at the end because this is where you're going to tie your bracelet close, so just keep that in mind. So go ahead and single crochet a little bit out, just for the length that you wanted for the end of your bracelet to tie. So just to give you an idea at this point, I did just do kind of like one loop just to mimic like half of a bow so I could see the length of yarn that was going to be left over. It ended up being a little too long for my liking. Like I don't want my bow to be that big on my bracelet. So I ended up undoing a little bit of this, but it is really good to measure. That way you can take the necessary steps at the beginning versus at the end if you don't like how it turned out. So for this tutorial, it is very important to measure along the way. So now we are at the point where we are going to start attaching our beads. So from your last single crochet, that little loop that goes on your hook, just go ahead and pull up that strand a little more. That's where we will be attaching our beads from. So it is very important that the way you put the yarn through your beads is the correct way, and you want to make sure that they're all facing the same way. Like for my beads, I'm going to be making sure that the beads are facing me, so face up, just so that when I do attach them, they're all facing the same way on the bracelet. You don't want beads, you know, backwards and things like that. So just pay attention to which way the beads are facing and then attach them all the same way. And once your bead is attached to your yarn, just go ahead and single crochet as usual, and make sure to count out these single crochets in between your beads so that way they're all the same. So as I mentioned, I did want all of my beads to be towards more of the front of the bracelet. So at this point, I am going to just single crochet all the way to the end of my chain, cut my yarn and fasten off, and then weave in those ends. And we are all done with our bracelet at that point. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. It's super simple, like I mentioned. It's a quick and easy make. You can do it with just sparkly beads like these to get you through holiday season and after, or you can do some Christmas theme beads and just really go all out. So I hope you guys will try this out and let me know in the comments if you do, and if it was easy, if it was fun, if you guys liked it. And I also hope you stay tuned for my next video, which will be day 4 of my 25 days of Christmas.